Hi, this is Micornus, Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. We are embarking on this topic that speaks about to master your growth journey, mastering the journey of growth in your life. And yesterday we spoke about a comfort zone as the first step of growth journey. And this is very important for us to understand that as you live in this world, you need to grow. And you need to move from the stage of comfort zone and move into what we call a fear zone. Now, that's what we call a fear zone as a second step of what we call a growth journey. Now, a fear zone is a zone that everybody goes through, particularly when you come out of a comfort zone. And that's the reason why it is a very necessary step as well, that we cannot ignore. It's a necessary step that we need to go through. And I want to urge you, as a young man, that you are actually ready, knowing that that's what we call a fear zone, and be ready actually to face what we call fear zone. What is a fear zone? A fear zone is a place where fear and excuses are actually dominating your mind. Fear and excuses are dominating your thinking pattern, whereby you want to move from your comfort zone, but you're fearing what will happen. You're fearing things that sometimes you don't even know. And sometimes you're fearing your tomorrow, whereby you don't even know what your tomorrow will be like when you move from this comfort zone. Sometimes comfort zones, as I've mentioned earlier, that it could be relationships whereby you are afraid to move out of this particular relationship because you're fearing what will happen as a consequence. Now, the fear of consequences is particularly the dominating factor when it comes to somebody who's supposed to move from comfort zone into this area. Now, the fear zone becomes really part and parcel of growth journey, and everybody goes through that. And sometimes when you are actually facing your own fear zone, you think that you're alone in fear zones. I must emphasize that fear zone is actually a step of growth that everybody goes through. Each time you're growing, you are going through this step. Now, for an example, even young children, as they learn, for instance, from being a baby and an infant, and a young baby then start learning to walk. At that particular time, because the comfort zone of sitting and crawling was okay for them. But the time that they learn to stand and walk, it becomes very, very traumatizing for them. It becomes really very fear mongering upon their lives. They are afraid to fall. They're afraid of what will happen when I stand up now straight away. And that's the reason why this step is part of growing, but it's very important that we are actually aware that in this journey of growing, you will have what we call a fear zone. And you will have to embrace the fear zone in the beginning to know that fear zone is part and parcel of growth. And it is actually there to help me to grow out of my comfort zone. So this is very key that we emphasize even today that the fear and excuses in this regard. We see somebody will say, no, I'm afraid because of this. And I'm justified to be afraid because of this and that. And because when you start to justify your fear, those excuses are going to hold you back. But we know that this is part of growing. And that's the reason why we want to say in your growth journey, please go through the fear and excuses, but not stay there as well. Make sure that when you are fearing, when you've got excuses, you don't make them a habit in you, so that you can actually move out of this stage as soon as possible. Now, in fear zone, people are afraid of others, and they're also afraid of opinions of other people as well. You are afraid of what will people say. And that's the reason why when you have to move to another step of your growth, you're always worried about what is the opinions of other people. What do they think about me? What do they think when I do this? What will they say? And because of that, that actually mongers more fear in your life. It makes you to be even more fearful. And you will consider this, that in many times, the greatest fear of human beings in their lives is not against animals. The greatest fear of human beings is about other human beings and their opinions as well about you. And that's the reason why confidence is lost along the way, because we think about what people will think about us. Now, those people that are lacking confidence if you actually have to study and find out why they lack confidence in their lives, you'll realize it's purely because they are thinking too much about other people and what other people's opinions will be when they are doing something in their lives, though progressive or not, but whatever they do, if they are starting to think more about what will people say, that kicks away the confidence in them. That makes them not to be confident enough anymore. And that I want to emphasize today. That if you're a young man who has to be confident in your life, who has to conquer and in your growth journey, become somebody who is progressive in your growth journey, please start to grow out of the point of worrying about what other people's opinions. Now, in fear zone, which is the step of growth journey, we will know that we are more worried about the opinions of other people. We are more worried about what will people think. Now, I want to urge you as a young man, for you to understand that it is very important sometimes to fear what people will think, because that will also help you to be sensible in what you do. That will make you also to become morally conscious and not just do anything anyhow, because it's very important. And I've heard to people that will say, I don't care what people say, and I will do whatever I want to do because I am I, and therefore I can do whatever I want to do. But remember that if you start to do exactly what you want to do, sometimes your moral compass even die. And to an extent that you may not even know what to do and what not to do anymore. And therefore, when your moral compass is gone, you will do things also that are deviant in your life. Those things that will tarnish your reputation and your the respect, and people will lose respect of you as well. And I must emphasize that it's very important that this fear sometimes be there in your life. The fear of people, the fear of the opinions of people is sometimes, as part of growth, very important, because what it does, it re-emphasizes the power of morals in you. It actually makes you to become conscious actually on how you behave. And you don't just actually behave anyhow because you are aware that there are people watching. Now, exemplary life is as a result of people that go through the stage and embrace it in a more wiser way, whereby they say, okay, we are aware of other people's opinions, but people's opinions are not going to stand on my way of growth. But I must take cognizance of that and not ignore that people are having opinions. And based on that, I must actually behave better and therefore protect my reputation because people are watching what I do. Now, if you are to grow to become a role model, if you are to become an example to other people, this type of a fear becomes then very important to mature you, to grow you. And you become more cognizant in, I want to become exemplary because I don't want to behave in a way that will discredit me. So as a young man, it's very important that you go through this stage, what we call fear zone, as a second stage of growth journey, and because it is actually shaping you as well. It is a stage that will shape you. Now, I want to also say that in this stage of fear zone, it's a place where many people adopt what we call low self-esteem or lack of confidence. This is a place where people start worrying about what people think about their dress code, what people think about how they talk, how people think about how they do things as well. Now, because of that, if this becomes more engraved in you, a majority of the people actually come out of this particular stage very scathed in a way that they are actually destroyed mentally. And they don't have confidence at all to rise up and to speak in front of people. And sometimes they cannot speak in public purely because their self-esteem has been destroyed at this particular stage, what we call a fear zone, which is a stage of growth whereby if you don't take care of or you don't become careful of it, it might actually damage your self-confidence. And we want to urge you as a young man that when you are in the stage of fear zone, you must control the fear that you have and make sure that you come out of this stage unscathed in a way, because then you will come out with your confidence intact, you'll come out with your self-esteem intact, despite of having walked into this fear zone, which is a stage of your growth journey, coming from a comfort zone. And at this particular time, if you rise up high above this stage, you will be able to have confidence, your confidence intact. You'll have your as we have mentioned, your self-esteem as well very intact, and that's very important, that to come out of this stage with all that very intact. I want to end up here today, your host, Micornus, Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. And before I check out today, I want to remind you of our Facebook page, Young Men Empowerment Forum, and our Facebook page, Micornus, Phokane. So please like those pages. Make sure that you also follow us on TikTok account under Micornus, Phokane and Young Men Empowerment Forum, so you will be blessed to do that. Don't forget our YouTube channel as well, which is under Young Men Empowerment Forum, and make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, click notification buttons as well. You'll be reminded every time we've posted a video of this kind, and your life shall never be the same as you will follow us. And this type of teachings, they are very important for you as a young man, and they will help you, and your life shall never be the same again. Allow me to check out here and say cheers for now.